Hey, welcome. If you're watching or listening to this at the time that this episode is actually being published, then it's July 4th, 2024. And so I get tons of questions from clients at this time of year, really all summer long, about how to manage the barbecues and the picnics and the family reunions and social gatherings and all the lake weekends, right? So I thought what I would do today is share some tips that I give them to help them through like holiday weekends like this 4th of July weekend. And these are really actually good tips for any weekend and the summer in general. So let's talk about how to manage through them, but also have a lot of fun because, as you guys know, my tips never include like deprivation or restriction. That's not real life. It's not sustainable. So it's not going to work for you. So, tip number one, do not skip meals and save up for later, right? Many of the women that I talk with and clients who I coach tell me they typically do this. They like skip breakfast and lunch and they save up their calories for the main celebration, the main meal later in the day, right? Don't do that. You can't save calories thinking that you're going to use them later. It just doesn't work. What happens is you just wind up overeating when you do get to that main meal time, and your body's hunger and satiation cues get all out of whack, which have to do with hormones, by the way. So you're unable to actually tell when you're full, when you get that, full satisfied feeling when you actually do eat. So you keep eating and you end up intaking way more calories than you would have if you'd have just eaten a balanced meal earlier in the morning for breakfast and or for lunch. That approach also reinforces this diet mentality that is such a harsh struggle to overcome for us. And so you've likely lived with that for years. If you're in your 50s like me, the way to diet was that deprivation, that cutting back, right? And when we're in this stage of life, when our hormones are already fluctuating, that type of approach just creates way more hormone imbalance and it further compromises your metabolism. And so, in other words, it slows down more and you have a harder time getting that excess weight off or even maintaining your weight. Another thing to consider here is that studies also show this diet approach, this restriction approach, can in fact create even more cravings for unhealthy foods. So put those together and you've got a double whammy. So just don't do that. So my tip number two will be have a light breakfast and or a lunch and plate your food this way, okay? First off, eat from a plate, right? And have a lean protein, minimize your carb intake, which is going to also help you manage your hunger. And it's going to keep your blood sugar more balanced so you don't misread those hunger cues or you have less of a chance of doing that. And then you inhale too much food when you eat, like I said earlier. Tip three, do not fast. Okay, this kind of goes back to skipping meals, but I hear a lot of women talking about how they fast or they've heard to fast. And it may work in certain instances, but it is not a good idea if you are that over 40, over 50 woman who potentially or definitely is in perimenopause stage, menopause stage. Don't go longer than about 4 to 5 hours without eating. And here's how I want you to plate your food. Think about planning your plate in this way. Instead of just sort of grabbing and putting what looks good on your plate, think about it this way, because this is plating your food in this way is going to help you through weekends like this and celebrations, but it's also going to help support your weight loss as well as your fun goals, because those are important. Okay. So, first and foremost, like I said earlier, use a plate. Then, because grazing, let me say something about that before I move on. Grazing is really one of the number one ways for you to lose track of what you're eating and overeat. It's amazing how often or how much we eat and we don't even realize. So use a plate. And then on your plate, put protein and veggies on it first. Skip all the creamy kinds of things, all the, mashed potatoes, the macaroni and cheese, all of that. Skip that first and put a lean protein and veggies on your plate. In fact, fill your plate, the majority of your plate with that. Like try at least to get half of your plate filled with that. Better fill 3/4 of your plate with lean protein and veggies. Then choose a carb that you would like. Put that on maybe about 1/4 of your plate. Then have a treat. If you enjoy a slice of pie, a piece of cake, a cupcake, or whatever, have that. When you don't overdo it on all of the foods and not think about your intake, you can definitely enjoy a treat, and you should. Okay, bonus tip has to do with adult beverages. Here's how to make that work over holidays like this long weekend through the summer or what have you. When you know these kinds of celebrations oftentimes include lots of alcohol, right? And so if you have weight loss goals and even just general health goals, you don't want to regret your alcohol intake once the fun is over. And alcohol, when it's not managed properly, can definitely sabotage your weight loss goals and your health. I don't say to avoid them or abstain from them completely because for many of us, me included, I enjoy them. I am not going to completely cut them out, and there is a way to manage that along with weight loss goals. Ask my clients. I teach them this all the time. So, my tips around alcohol have to do with a few things. Number one, stay away from sugary drinks. You can enjoy alcohol without having the kinds of drinks that have tons of sugars in it. And first and foremost, you can think about these in terms of like the things that have all the mixers in it, the margaritas, the daiquiris. I would say if you have weight loss goals, stay away from those completely. Stick with things that you know exactly what's in the drink, okay? Clear liquor and a soda or a tonic. And I would say either have, low cal or low sugar, no sugar sodas and tonics. I personally opt for vodka and a no sugar tonic, and I've tried several because they do tonics and sodas taste different. So try different brands out. You can find one that you like. I have found one that I'm particularly snobby about, and I always have it. But I enjoy a vodka tonic with a lime twist that way. That's going to help cut the sugar down when I'm having a few drinks. Next, you can go to wine. Maybe you're not a hard liquor person, so you're looking for something else. You can have a wine, but again, the issue there is the sugar level. So I encourage you, and when I drink wine, I do this. I cut my wine with a sugar-free tonic. I drink it half and half, and I add a lime twist. And that way it tastes great. I enjoy it. I'm still, doing the social thing with my drink, but I'm not having so much sugar in that wine. Okay. I encourage our clients to skip beers. If they are beer drinkers, I give them some particulars around that. I'm not going to go into the details because there's a lot more to consider with beers, but those are some really good, just kind of like what you can go to and make work on celebratory weeks and weekends like this, right? Next, do what I call a one-to-one trade-off. And with clients in our 12-week program, this is a rule of thumb that I tell them to live by if they're going to include alcoholic beverages while they're on their quest to lose weight. For every adult beverage that you have, you want to make sure you drink 1 full glass of water. That's a minimum of 8 ounces. That way, it cuts down on the total amount of alcohol that you drink overall, right? And it helps dilute that alcohol too, which helps your body to detoxify it. I won't go into all the nerdy science stuff around that, but there are processes that your body has to go through to detoxify and rid your body of that alcohol. And because that takes, I'll say, more attention for your body, then it impairs your body's metabolizing and absorbing of nutrients. And so it can slow down. Alcohol can slow down your weight loss process. It really just can negatively impact the goals that you have. So try to minimize those struggles with water intake. So you're basically think of it as kind of watering down your alcohol and making sure you get a lot of water intake in so that hydration helps your body to manage that detoxification process. Okay. So here's like overall my position on this is here's the thing. Being healthy and even losing weight should not include like severe restriction or completely depriving yourself of the things that you really enjoy, whether that's food or drink, social events, all of that considered. Those kinds of restrictions that you place on yourself, in the interest of losing weight, they're never sustainable. Even though you think, well, I'm only going to do this for a temporary amount of time, that kind of severe restriction is not sustainable, so you shouldn't do it while you're on your weight loss journey and your health journey either. All that does is it typically leads to that sort of, all or nothing, start and stop vicious cycle that so many women tell me when they come to me as a client. You can lose weight and get healthy without having that deprivation or diet mentality. So the point is, and what we help clients do in our 12-week program is we want to begin to train your metabolism, get it to a place where first, most of our clients are in a fat loss phase with their metabolism. We're training their metabolism to start working, burn fat off of their body, but also we're stoking it in a way that will eventually get you to what I call is living lean, but you probably think of it as a maintenance phase so that you can maintain your weight, your health stays even keel and good without you doing anything that's like outside of the normal. It's just second nature. It's just the way you live, right? That means you have to learn to eat and live in those ways that work for you and your lifestyle while you're on your quest to lose weight and get healthy. Otherwise, you'll never keep it up in real life, right? So I hope these tips were helpful for this holiday week and this weekend. Really, like I said, you can use them for any weekend where you want to be able to manage your food, have your fun, and even your drink in a way that also serves your goals, right? So have a happy and safe holiday. Have a happy and safe every day, actually. Thanks for being here with me. I always appreciate your time and attention, and I'll see you right back here next time.